Okay, so we're diving into something pretty big today, something I think a lot of you have been wanting to explore.
Yeah, it's something that kind of flies under the radar sometimes.
It's about those dropping birth rates we've been seeing, like, everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
globally.
Worldwide.
And we're going really deep on this. We've got this excerpt,
Yeah.
The Possible Dangers of Decreasing Birth Rates.
Catchy title.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to, unpack all of that,
Definitely.
see what it all means, especially for you.
For you listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, it's happening slowly, but the excerpt, I mean, it doesn't hold back.
No, it doesn't. It lays out some pretty, serious consequences,
Yeah.
potential consequences
Yeah.
down the road.
And it starts off, right off the bat, talking about the workforce.
Hmm.
Like, what's going to happen with, workers in the future.
Yeah, the future of work. It's a hot topic, right?
Yeah. It is. It is.
Right.
And, the UN, they're predicting that by 2050, there's going to be a way smaller group of people
Way smaller.
in those, prime working years, 15 to 64.
There's ones paying taxes. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Supporting the system.
And it's not even just having enough people to do the jobs. It's like
Yeah.
a ripple effect.
Yeah, it goes way beyond that. The excerpt even gives a concrete example. Japan, their tech sector, they're already freaking out about this.
Right.
Because they're not going to have enough software engineers. And it's happening now.
Wow.
Think about it. They're going to have to start recruiting people from all over the world
Just to keep up.
just to stay afloat.
Yeah. Forget about, making new stuff. Just keeping the lights on.
Exactly.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And the excerpt doesn't shy away from that aging population thing either.
Oh, no. That's the big one, right?
Yeah. They talk about places like Italy where over 20% of the population is over 65
Oh,
already.
yeah. Imagine the stress on the system.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to put a strain on everything, right? Like healthcare, Social Security, all that.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it, right? Those systems, they were designed with this idea that you'd have a big group of working age people, right?
Yeah.
Paying into the system, supporting the people who are retired. But when you have way more older people and not enough younger folks to support them,
Yeah.
the whole thing gets out of whack.
It's like a seesaw, right? Like a bowling ball on one side and a feather on the other.
Exactly. It's just not balanced.
It's just not balanced.
Right.
But, okay, couldn't technology help with this? I'm thinking, what about telehealth?
Yeah.
Or even, maybe AI to help with, figuring out what's wrong with people. Take some of that pressure off.
That's the million-dollar question, right? And honestly, the excerpt, it doesn't really offer specific solutions,
Okay.
but it does make one thing super clear. Some countries, they're already in trouble.
Gotcha.
Their healthcare systems, they're not strong enough. They're already struggling.
Right.
So yeah, technology could help. It could.
Yeah.
But even getting it to those places and then getting people to actually use it,
Yeah.
that's a whole other problem.
That's a whole other deep dive.
Right.
Makes you wonder, if you're someone, entering the workforce in, say, 2030,
Yeah, what do you do?
what do you do? How do you get ready for that?
Yeah.
A world where everyone's older.
Right. And maybe more dependent on technology than ever.
Yeah, exactly.
So what skills do you need?
Like skills do you need? What do you focus on?
Well, it's the obvious ones, right? You gotta be adaptable. You gotta be a good thinker. You gotta be tech savvy.
Yeah.
But it's more than that, right? You also gotta be able to connect with older people.
Yeah.
Understand their needs. Have empathy.
Yeah. Like emotional intelligence.
Exactly. It's not just about writing code.
Right.
It's about understanding people.
Totally. Totally. And the excerpt also talks about what this means for the economy.
Yeah.
It's not just about jobs, right?
No.
It's about everything.
It's about spending.
Yeah. Fewer kids.
Less stuff they need.
Yeah.
Think about it. Less demand for schools. Less demand for, toys.
Right.
Think bigger picture.
Yeah.
Less demand for housing.
Oh, yeah.
Less need for all sorts of stuff. It's the economy is not necessarily crashing, but it's
Yeah.
stuck in second gear.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. But wait, hold on. People are living longer.
Right.
Right. So even if there are fewer young people, they're still consuming. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for planning for the future? Financially?
That's where the excerpt, I think, gets really thought-provoking. It talks about how this whole shift could change how we invest.
Really?
Yeah. Instead of putting money into industries that are, booming,
Right.
it might make more sense to focus on things that older people need.
Okay, like what?
Like healthcare,
Oh,
elder care,
makes sense.
leisure activities for retirees.
Yeah. Stuff they're going to do with their time.
Exactly. It's a whole different way of looking at things.
It is. That's a really different perspective.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole social and cultural side of things.
Yeah.
The excerpt talks about how traditions might just disappear,
Oof.
gone.
Yeah. Because there's just not enough young people to carry them on.
Think about it. If families are smaller and there are fewer young people,
Right.
communities change.
Yeah.
You don't have that connection between generations as much.
Right.
And traditions, especially the ones that involve big families,
Yeah.
they might not survive.
They might just fade away. It's almost like we're losing those safety nets that families and communities used to give.
Exactly.
And then what about the emotional part of all of this? Imagine being older in a world where families are tiny and everyone lives far apart.
Yeah, it's kind of bleak, right?
It is. And the excerpt, it doesn't spend too much time on it, but the idea of older people being lonely.
Isolated.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Oh, absolutely. And it's something we got to think about. We need creative solutions.
Yeah.
Not just for healthcare and the economy,
Right.
but for keeping people connected.
Yeah, it's like socially.
Yeah, socially connected. It's a different world,
It is. It's like we're so focused on the numbers, but it's really about the human side of it all. And this isn't just happening in one place,
Nope.
The excerpt, it makes it really clear. This is global.
Global, happening everywhere. The excerpt even uses this mind-blowing stat.
What's that?
In 1950, the global fertility rate was 5 births per woman.
Wow.
By 2020, 2.4.
That's a huge drop.
Huge. And it's scary because to keep things stable, you need 2.1 births per woman.
Right.
And a lot of countries are already below that.
Yeah. It's it's happening slowly, but it's changing everything.
It's reshaping the world slowly but surely.
And it kind of feels overwhelming to think about all the stuff that could happen. But the excerpt does say that there are some things we can do, right?
It does. It mentions policies that are more family friendly.
Right.
Better work-life balance.
Yeah.
Even paying people to have kids.
Oh, wow.
But it doesn't really get into details.
Okay. So there are options,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be an easy fix.
Definitely not a quick fix.
This makes me think of something what if all this leads to, more robots, more automation? Because we need to fill those jobs.
Yeah.
Could we end up in a world where there just aren't enough jobs? Even for the smaller amount of people, it's kind of a scary thought.
It is. It's something to think about.
It is.